Hi everybody. Today I am going to talk to you a little bit about data validation. So far what we've done when we've taken input is we've just assumed that it's the kind of input that we want. So I'm going to start by creating a new file, and I'm going to go demo validation.py, and let's say I'm just going to take in a number and add 3 to it. I'll go ahead and clear that. So n is going to be input, enter a number, and then of course I have to, I'll do n equals n plus 3, and I'll print n. Already we're going to run into a little bit of problem, but I want to demonstrate that. So I'm going to press F5 and run. Enter a number. I'm going to enter 3, and I run into an error here because I can only concatenate a string, str, not an int, to a str. So what's going on there? Well, anytime you take input from the keyboard, it assumes that it's a string because it could be any set of characters. So it starts out as a string. So to fix that, I need to first say n equals int n, and this will convert it to an integer. Okay. Then we'll see down here it says enter a number. I'm going to enter 5, and it works. It adds 3 to it and prints 8. If I run it again, it says enter a number. I type in Bob, and now I run into a different error. It says exception has occurred, value error. This is really important. Invalid literal for int with base 10, Bob. So it can't convert Bob to a base 10 number, integer. So how do I fix that? Or really, how do I check it? I need to check it and decide what to do if they enter something that isn't valid. So I'm taking this a little bit out of the order of what happens in the textbook because I want you able to work with this as we go into functions especially. And the textbook is going to use some plugins for this, and I'd rather you know how to do it directly. So what I can do is I can do a try statement. So what a try does is it establishes a block of code. I'm going to go ahead and indent that so that I've got, notice the colon introduces a block of code and then everything's indented there. And if it runs into an error, it will then bring up this except part. So a try and an except go together. And you can either do a generic except, or you can put in what kind of error you're going to handle. In this case, I'm going to handle a value error. Okay, I could also just leave it blank, but this lets you have a series of them. If there are a few possible exceptions you might run into, you can put them sort of in order down here, and it'll go to whichever answer you've chosen. So if this doesn't work, I'm going to say print that's not a number, let's call it 3. Okay, and then I need to do that and set n equals 3, and then I'll do the rest of my work. Now this is not a good solution to the problem, but it'll demonstrate what we have going. So I'm going to run it again, enter a number, Ted, that's not a number, let's call it 3. It adds, so here it sets it to 3, adds 3 to it, and then prints it, so we get 6. If I run it again, and when it asks for a number, I actually enter a number, 45, it just goes ahead and runs it. So that's how you catch an error and do something by default. Now usually you don't want to just give it a default value, you want to ask again. So then you can wrap a while loop around this and only break if it gives you a good number. So you can do a while true, drop that in there, and give that the result. Okay, so while true, all of this becomes a block, and then you give an error and it pops back up and asks again. I'm not going to demonstrate that for you just now. I've explained it a little bit. You've got the basic code. What I would like you to do after this is write that while loop that is going to ask for a number until it results in a real number having been entered. And that's all I've got for you.